The ECB, which is the Europe Central Bank, it is the bank that aggregates 19 countries, all the 19 countries which are holding and using the euro currency. He said previously that they will not raise the interest rate. However, now that they are facing a 4% inflation and a lower growth, then it's expected and possible that they would also raise the interest rate, just like the US. By the end of 2022, the US economy is expected to grow at 1.8%. However, please let's all remember that up until now, the economy has actually shrinked, which is negative. So let's hope it would keep up with the pace so it would actually reach. But we have a bad experience with previous predictions. So let's see. The current prediction is 1.8%. Some of inflation is caused by simply psychology and the expectancy of people for higher inflation, for higher prices. When people think that there would be higher prices, this causes them to do two things. One, to aggregate and buy currently more products because on the future they know that the price would be higher. And the second thing, to raise prices if they are selling something because they know that in the future it would cost more. And as of today, 95% of the Americans are expecting higher inflations. So this is a very high, basically everyone expects. 95% of the American population means that everyone are basically expecting higher inflation. The CBO, which is the Congressional Budget Office, said that earlier this year, the growth of the US economy would be 2% on 2022. Now we know that the prediction is down to 1.8%. In 2023, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, expects 2.3% growth, and in 2024, 1.5% growth. So basically, these are a somewhat low growth number, which are expected in the upcoming years. And the low growth numbers are the result of the higher interest rate and the lower spending by the government. How do we see that the government is spending less money? Well, the government spends money and it's taking loans, basically. We are all taking loans. So last year, the federal government deficit was $2.8 trillion. This was the debt last year. Okay, the total debt of the US economy is $30 trillion. This year, on 2022, it's going down to only $1 trillion, only. But it's still a very high number, $1 trillion in debt. Okay, it's a very big number. It's lower than the $2.8 trillion that we had last year. It's an improvement, but we cannot call it success. So all this excessive money, all this debt that are taken and are spent inside the economy, this is what causing the actual inflation. One of the main reasons, at least. The PCE, which is the Personal Consumption Price Index, is measuring the prices, but it does not include two main components of prices, the food and the energy. So it's a little bit misleading. However, on April, it was down to 4.9%, while on March, it was 5.2%. This is still high. This is the highest we have had in 40 years. This means that prices are still increasing, but in a lower rate. So 4.9% is lower than an increase of 5.2%, but this does not include, as we said, the food and energy. The FDA has already increased in 2022 the interest rate 2 times for a total of 0.75%, which is less than 1%. On June, it has increased it's actually said that in upcoming months, in June, it will increase the interest rate by another 0.5%, and on July, another 0.5%. This is great. This is amazing. This means we are going to have 2 consecutive months where the interest rate would increase in total in 1%. The inflation target is 2% according to the FDA. This is why they are raising the interest rate. In the next 3 months, they are also doing quantitative tightening, which is the reverse of quantitative easing. So in the next 3 months, they are going to actually take money out of the system. This is quantitative tightening. Taking money out of the systems, $47.5 billion each month for 3 months, and then they are going to, afterwards, to take out of the system $95 billion on a monthly basis. So we have higher interest rates, we have money being taken out of the systems, which all will cause slower economy, and we know that the expectancy is for inflation to continue, maybe not 8%, maybe less than that, but will continue at least for 1, 2, 3 years.